Sure. Okay. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another Rockstar Connect Success Seminar. We're here at the Candy Factory on the 6th floor. So for those of you who are watching at home, welcome. Now today we're going to get into talking about having a successful digital marketing presence. So, but it's really important to understand what's going on with the success seminars. It's not just about marketing. It's not just about sales. It's about giving you as rock stars the opportunity to speak and teach to other rock stars. And one of the keys that we're going to do with these type of talks and why we're going live streaming is we'll go ahead and add them to a guide section in the group. So that way we'll have references as we continue to have these seminars where people can go back in and learn from other people that they're connected with, not only just at the mixers, but maybe doing business together, and gives you the opportunity to share and refer folks to other people that you may meet that now you know local rock stars here that could help them. So really excited to have a small group that we have here this morning. And our speaker today is Matt RODA, who, what, 10 years ago? Yep, about 11 years ago, started a digital marketing company together with his brother. It's a family business, and I'll let Matt talk a little bit more about the details, but definitely in today's age, especially when you're marketing, having a digital presence is vital. And what does that mean? What are the most important pieces that you want to focus on to get the biggest return on your investment? And that's going to be the key topic that we're going to go through, those top 6 components. So without further ado, we'll bring up Matt RODA from RODA Marketing.
Thanks, Chuck.
Absolutely.
As everyone here in person, I appreciate you coming out. Everyone there watching in their home offices, thanks for tuning in and being present for this chat. Am I good?
Better, I think. Yeah. Yep. We on now? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I see all the bars jumping.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So we started outsourcing some of that work to other local companies, and we would make suggestions on ways to improve the website. We would send those updates to another company. They would make them for our clients, and then our clients were seeing a lot more success because now their websites were optimized for conversion. So in 2012, we kind of internally made the decision that instead of doing that and sending work to other vendors and other companies to make those updates, that we were going to become basically an all-inclusive website design company, internet marketing company, SEO company. So in 2012, we transitioned from affordableseosuccess.com to rodamarketing.com. And that's really kind of where our business started to grow at a better pace, because we were starting to offer more services, and basically be more of a one-stop shop for all of our clients and their digital marketing needs. And as it says there, we serve clients nationwide. A big part of our customer base is in Lancaster/Central Pennsylvania, but we have clients out in Colorado, we have them in Maryland, we have them down south in Georgia. So we do have clients across the country. That's starting to pick up a little bit more with the partnership that we have, but really our core focus is being local, working with local clients, so then we can meet face to face, so we can kind of develop that personal relationship with the people that we work with. Go back real quick. That quote that we have at the bottom of all of the contracts that we send out. It says, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. The only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do." It's a Steve Jobs quote. We just love that quote because it really stands for everything that we do. We love what we do. We believe we do great work, and then our clients kind of feel that passion. So that's just kind of like a little reminder when people are looking at our proposals and maybe comparing it to other proposals, that we're not just going through the motions and doing this to make money. We are really passionate about what we do, and we love what we do. So now we will jump into the top 6 components of a successful digital marketing presence. And these are in order of what I think is the most important to focus on first. So we kind of build the foundations like a pyramid, like this one is the base, and then the next one's there, and at the very top is number 6. So obviously, before you can have any type of successful business, whether it's digital or not digital, you have to have a brand. So that's the first number one here is the brand, and if you just go to the second one, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it from there. No. Yeah. So what we say here is you need a strong brand, and there's 2 aspects to that. So a brand, when most people think brand or business logo, it's the visual stuff. It's what everybody sees. It's the logo, the tagline, the visual identity. That's what people generally look at as what your brand is. But for us, there's 2 aspects to the brand, and the most important one, in our opinion, or just as important, is the behind the scenes brand. So really what goes on behind the scenes before you can take that company, that brand, and show it to the world and be proud of it. So we say you must have passion for what you're doing. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're probably not going to love doing it. And at some point it's going to fizzle out, and people are going to sense that. We believe you must be in it to help others succeed. So obviously making money is great. It's part of business. You have to do it to survive, but you really should want to help others succeed first and foremost. And what we always tell our clients is your success is our success. Like if we're not helping you grow your business and make more money, you're probably going to fire us at some point. So that's kind of like the ulterior motive as to why we want to help others succeed. But really, it's like I love talking to business owners and them being like, our business is thriving because of working with you guys. It just makes us really happy to know that we can help other businesses succeed. Their families can do well. They can take vacations, etc., because of the work that we're doing for them. You must know what you stand for, your core values. So obviously it kind of is, be passionate about it. Why are you doing what you're doing? What are your core values? Is it responsiveness? Is it, integrity? Whatever you really believe is the foundation of who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Make sure you understand that as you're developing the brand. You must have a vision for where you want to be and where you want to go. Again, if not, you kind of just aimlessly wander, and without that vision, you don't know what the end goal is, or at least what you're striving to achieve. So you have to have a starting point, but you also need to know, in the near future and then in the distant future, what are you trying to achieve? You must be persistent. Any business owner who's been successful for a significant amount of time knows you're going to hit challenges. You're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to, there's going to be fires you have to put out. It's a never ending cycle of challenges and problems that you have to overcome. So you have to be persistent. You have to be optimistic. There's a whole bunch of other adjectives we could probably come up with, but I really believe persistence is one of them, because if you're not persistent, you'll give up easily, and then you'll never achieve the success you want to achieve. And I really think super important is you must have your why. Why are you going into business? Why are you developing this brand? Why are you looking to help others? For me, and I think for my brother as well, One of our big whys was be able to develop a business where we could work from home. I have 2 little daughters. He has a little son. Being able to, be present in that moment with them and take walks with them throughout the day and schedule our time around our family schedule. We're constantly working. We work in the evenings when the kids sleep, but having the freedom to choose when we work, when we schedule meetings, for me was a big why. The freedom to make the amount of money that you can make is great, and financial stability is awesome, but for me, the freedom to spend that time with my family is my biggest why. So that, again, all that went into us developing our brand and what we think was, behind the scenes, what allowed us to create a strong brand that's allowed us to be in business for 11 years now and continue to grow year after year. So then the other aspect of the brand is, what does the world see? It's the visual identity, it's the fonts, it's the colors, it's the imagery, it's the visual aspect of who you are and how you represent yourself to the world. The logo, obviously, it's everywhere. It's on t-shirts, websites, billboards, letterhead. It's the main way you're going to be visually represented. The tagline, and then the social icon. So, and at the bottom there, I put important. If your logo doesn't explain what you do, your tagline needs to. There's a book I read, Marketing Made Simple, and it basically said, like, if confusion kills decision making. So if your logo is vague, or your business name is vague, Google, as an example, like, that's a terrible example in one way, but it's a good example in another, because if you didn't know what Google was and you read the word Google, you'd have no idea it's a search engine. So if Google had a tagline, it would need to be something that describes it as a search engine. So for us, we kind of went twofold. RODA marketing, you understand that we do marketing because it's right there in the name. But then our tagline is marketing that builds relationships and delivers results. So RODA marketing, you understand we do marketing, but then if you just read our tagline, you would also know that we do marketing. And in that marketing, we focus on relationship building and delivering results. So that's kind of the base foundation of everything that you do, is make sure you have that strong brand, and that a lot of thought and energy and quality decision making goes into that brand, as opposed to just willy-nilly picking a name and throwing it out there and hoping that it sticks. Number 2 is your website. So we say you need an effective website. So again, there's kind of 2 pieces to an effective website. So we have this broken down into technical and personal. The technical stuff is super boring to most people. It's what we focus a lot on, because without those technical pieces in place, chances are your website will not be effective. So the technical aspects that you need to focus on is optimize for search engines. And we'll get a little bit into that with the next one, which is SEO, but make sure your website's optimized for search engines. There's technical things like schema and XML sitemaps. Again, these are just technical data points that Google and other search engines are looking for to make sure that you're optimized and that they understand what your website's about. They have to understand all that and see all that to rank you on their search engines, which will lead to organic traffic, which will drive a ton of business to you if you're doing it right. Tracking success. So for us, success is defined when we work with a client. Our success is defined by form submissions and phone calls. So I always say I'd rather send you 1,000 visitors a month and have those 1,000 visitors turn into 100 phone calls and 100 form submissions than send you 10,000 visitors that only lead to 10 phone calls and 10 form submissions. Because at the end of the day, traffic is great. It's good, but really the success is, are you qualifying those people, and are they walking in your front door and actually doing business with you? Because traffic by itself does not turn into revenue. Traffic turned into qualified leads turns into revenue. So make sure that your website can track success. And then
Question for you, Matt.
Yes.
So I was in kind of an SEO type conversation with a guy that does that in the real estate space.
Yep.
And one of his key, discussion points was, it doesn't matter about as much of the technical SEO as it does about being able to convey the message and get somebody to take an action on the site.
Yep.
So from a standpoint that Google is looking for, what is a good website means that somebody is actually doing what you're intending that website to be.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
It's not so much about link trees and all, all of those PBNs and all of those type of different components. It's more of set it up so you can get people, give the user a good experience, so that way they're like, yes, I want to take an action here, and that will take you up the rankings much faster.
Yeah, so it's absolutely a true statement. I would I wouldn't argue, but I would also say it's twofold. So you have to optimize for search engines, because without a website optimized for search engines, they're not going to see your website and understand your website. But as important, or maybe even a little bit more important, is optimizing for user experience. So, you know, when we get to the SEO part of this, and I'll jump into that real quick to kind of hit your point, Chuck, is when you optimize a title tag and a description tag. Google says you don't technically have to optimize the description tag. They'll just pull the code from your website and display what they want to. But from a user's perspective, if you go to Google and search for something, you're seeing the description tag on a Google result is that little snippet, like the 1 or 2 sentences. So sure, you can leave that up to Google to say, here's what I think belongs there. Or if you're optimizing for humans, which, you know, obviously you really, really want to do, because at the end of the day, again, they're bringing the business in, we make sure that those description tag snippets are written with a call to action. It lists the phone number. It tells us why you're different than the competitor. So 100% agreed with that. You can't ignore the technical, but you must optimize for users, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are searching for something and then choosing you over the competitors and driving real business and revenue to you. So yeah, it's a good point, but you can't ignore the technical stuff, because if you don't do the technical stuff, you won't even get the chance to get that message in front of the user to make that user turn into a customer, if that makes sense. And then so fast load times, everyone in the room and everyone watching, you knows that, like, if you go to a website and you have to wait 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds for something to load, chances are you're bouncing and going somewhere else, because people just don't feel like they have the time to wait for that. And fair enough, the internet's instantaneous, so you want that stuff instantaneously. HTTPS, so making sure your website's secure. Google, that was probably what, 5 years ago, like 3, 5 years ago, that Google basically came out and said all websites need to be secure. They at some point said they're going to stop showing websites that aren't secure on their results. I haven't seen that. I still come across websites that aren't secure, so I don't think they took that drastic of a change and like a slap on the wrist. But you want your website to feel secure, again, something that the search engines want to see, but it's also peace of mind for the users. Like if you go to a website and are thinking about entering confidential information, you want to know that that information is safe. And then compatible on all browsers. So making sure when we launch websites, we'll work with clients, we make sure that they are compatible on Safari, Chrome, Firefox, all the newer versions of all the different browsers, just to make sure that, you know, if someone from their laptop or someone from their desktop views it on different browsers, that they're having a good user experience, and they're not running into any spacing issues or just organizational issues. And then from a personal perspective, you want to make sure it's responsive and mobile friendly. The data says, I think it's like 3/4 of people access the web from their phones now. So if you don't have a website that's responsive and mobile friendly, you're probably losing a large percentage of potential traffic to some degree. Well organized and easy to navigate. You don't want too many pages across the top. You usually keep it to 5 to 7 main pages across the top. Most important coming first. And then as someone goes down your website, just again, highlighting the most important parts, highlighting what you need to highlight, but really where the bang for the buck comes in is funneling people into the most important areas as quickly as possible. Captivating imagery and icons kind of goes back to the branding part of things. You want to make sure you have big, crisp images. If you have blurry images that people have to zoom in on, super annoying for people. They don't think it looks very professional. Icons, so if you know you're choosing icons, maybe have some custom icons developed just for your brand, so you're not using icons and imagery that every other website's using, so it looks more custom and unique to you. Clear calls to action, that's a huge one for an effective website. If someone goes to your website, they should be able to get to your phone number, and they should have a form to fill in, or at least a button to click to go to a form on every single page of your website. There's nothing worse than going to a website and having a question and trying to find a phone number and not being able to locate a phone number. You really want to make yourself accessible to people to close that deal as quickly as possible. So making sure you have that form for quick contact, and a phone number to call if they have any questions or issues is huge. Focus on what's in it for them. I can't tell you like how many websites we go to and it's, this is why we're great, this is what we do, this is why we're the best, this is why you should choose us. And it really, I get it, but that comes across to the users as more self-serving and like tooting your own horn. Whereas if you focus on what are the benefits their business will experience by hiring you, what are the benefits they'll get by choosing you over the competition, and make it all about them, you create that relationship, that kind of personal feel that people are going to want to work with you because you understand that you're helping them succeed. This isn't about you. And then showcases who you are. So have a little bit on there about who you are. We have on our team page like animated photos of each one of us, just so people can kind of see like the face behind the business. So you want to make sure that people realize it's a real people business. It's not just some brand with a bunch of robots working behind it. Number 3 is search engine optimization, SEO. So here
Hey,
we
Matt.
say, yes.
Yep. Just before we go, just to ask, how many of you have a website for your business? Everybody.
Yep.
Right? So from that standpoint, another question would be, did you build it yourself or did you have somebody else build it?
I built it on myself
Okay.
as well.
DIY.
We're in the same industry.
Okay.
I'm down in your neck of the line. So,
Okay. Very cool.
but this is great stuff.
Awesome.
So
Very cool.
DIY as well. So it's important, and there's so much information that's out there that can point you, well, no, I do it this way. Well, no, I do it this way.
Yep.
And for me, it's always come because I've done both.
Yeah.
And I hired somebody the last time because I knew that I wasn't competent to be able to make what I wanted.
Everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, but I look at it from a standpoint of, if I'm going to a website, I have certain preferences and I like to have things in a way that makes sense to me. Now, I'm not everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's going to have different tastes and different preferences, but to be able to have it look and styled in a certain way is hugely important for that experience.
Yeah. And the one thing to kind of touch on that is you can choose, like, you know, we give our quotes for websites and sometimes it's like, I want to pay less than that. I should be able to pay half than that. And I say to people, you can. We're not the cheapest. We're not the most expensive, but you can go out and get themes and templates and buy them and customize them to your business. By all means, that's a decent route to take if you have to, but we custom design and develop our websites from the ground up. So we don't work from, here's a template, we have to have an image here and we need to have this here and we have to do this here because that's the template that we bought. We basically say to our clients, what websites do you like out there? They send us a list of examples. We pick and choose what we think is the best, and then we custom design this website that we think will serve their business best. Once that design is approved, then we give it to our developer and he custom codes everything from the ground up. So we're not, you know, our hands aren't tied by theme structures, which again, a good option if you need to go that route. We like to be able to say, here's our blank canvas, what do we want to do? And then we build and design on that canvas and then we custom code it from the ground up so our clients own that code. So back to SEO. So you need to rank on Google, organic traffic 24/7. So we've been doing this 11 years. We do an analysis for all of our clients at the end of the year where we study where most of their traffic came from. Organic traffic, and not industry specific, so across every industry, drives like 70% of all of our clients' traffic. It's just, if you're optimized properly for the right keyword phrases, and you're showing up on the first page of Google for your most important keyword phrases and a ton of variations of those keyword phrases, you will get a ton of qualified traffic to your site over time. And as you continue to do things on a monthly basis to strengthen those results, that traffic just continues to flow in and kind of show the momentum goes up and up year after year. So that's why it's number 3. So you have to have the brand, you have to have the website. And then right after that, the first thing we focus on for our clients is a strong SEO presence, because that takes longer to get in place and to start getting that traffic. But once you start getting that traffic and the momentum starts happening, it's like a snowball effect rolling down a hill. It just gets bigger and bigger and goes faster and faster. So that as soon as you can get that piece of the puzzle in place, it's a better position to be in. 2 stats there. I don't know if they're like up to date as of today, but 93% of online experiences begin with the search engine. 62% of search users click a link on the first page of Google. Just goes to show how important the search engines are. No, we're good. I think I remember most of it anyway. So then the important elements of a SEO campaign, what we focus on first and foremost is picking the right keyword phrases. Again, like, you want to go after keywords that are going to drive real business to you. So determine the final keyword phrases. We look for keywords that have the most traffic and are the least competitive. We want to get you a ton of traffic, but we don't want to go up against websites or keywords that are competing against 10 million other websites, because we don't want it to take 2-3 years to get you to the first page. We want to get you to the first page within the first couple months of working with us. That way you get that traffic, that snowball starts to pick up some momentum. Then there's the on-site SEO. So we're writing unique title and description tags for every page on the website. We optimize the content for the keyword phrases that we've chosen. And then the technical tasks, which we mentioned before, which is like the schema, the XML sitemaps, the different tags, all those things. We want to make sure that basically we check. We have a list of probably like 20 different items that we go through, all the technical things that we want to make sure the search engines see that we've accomplished for our clients' websites. And then another big part of it is fresh content. So on a monthly basis, if you sign up for one of our campaigns, on a monthly basis, we're either writing a blog for you, doing an infographic, something of that nature, where then we're taking that information and we're sharing it on your website. And then we're submitting that information to Google Webmaster Tools and basically saying to Google on a monthly basis, hey, we're over here, our website's sharing good content. Come look at this website. Google says, okay, this website's sharing good content on a consistent basis. We're going to continue to rank them, higher and higher up the first page because they're doing all the things that we are telling them to do, which is share that fresh content. What was the next one? Fresh content, go down. Monitoring, so we look at our keywords, whatever keywords we chose, we like to see where they're currently positioned, if they're moving up or down. If we see drastic changes, it's a sign that we need to pay attention to something to make sure that, the algorithms didn't change and negatively impact our clients' websites. Adam over there, he monitors Google Webmaster Tools for all of our clients. So if a dead page shows up or a link gets broken, we're seeing that really, really quickly and we're able to fix it for our clients. Link building, so that's basically, other websites out there pointing back to your website, which shows Google that, hey, this website must be important because there's other people linking to it. That can be done through competitor analysis, seeing where your competitors are getting their links from. And it can also just be done through outreach campaigns, getting published on relevant websites, article sites, things of that nature. If you do community events and that event has a website and they say you were a sponsor and they link back to your website, that's a good way to get links. There's a lot of different ways to get links back to the website. It's one of the tougher parts of SEO, just because you don't just get to raise your hand and be like, hey, I want a link. Like, you have to actually reach out, build a relationship, get that rapport, and then make sure that that link actually is built and sent back to your website. And then the one at the bottom, this could very easily go at the top because it's so important these days, is a Google My Business page. So it's basically the knowledge graph over on the right when someone searches for your brand name and they see that box over on the right that has your name. So that displays in that name, address, and phone number. Make sure you keep all your contact information up to date. It showcases your reviews. Google reviews, that's the platform we do our best to get our clients more reviews on. Like, if someone doesn't have a Gmail account and can't leave a Google review for one of the businesses we work with, we'll kind of funnel them over to Facebook to get that secondary review on Facebook. But if we can get a Google review, that's what we're shooting for, definitely at the top of our list. You can share posts down inside your Google My Business page. You're able to answer questions that people pose to you. You can provide quotes and estimates. We have one local contractor, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week, probably, Home One, that they have people reach out on their Google My Business page and is like, I'd like a quote for a kitchen remodel, or I'd like an estimate for a bathroom redo. Like, it always surprises me because I wouldn't, like, that's not how I would use the internet. Like, I would go to their website and submit a form, but people are using Google My Business just to reach directly out to a brand or a company to ask for information. So if you don't have that, chances are you're missing a huge opportunity. And then it's also great, like 4th of July, if you're closed on a holiday, like, people will go to Google, get that information right there, and you can update it like in the moment. So you can let people know they don't show up at your shop because they thought you were open, then they're frustrated because you're closed, and you're like,
mind as a consumer, I'm thinking, what else do they have that they don't pay attention to and they don't stay consistent with? So it shows you that you're really kind of on top of things. and that you're paying a lot of attention.
So when you consider social media, and that was our last success seminar, Teresa talked a bit about social media and how to effectively utilize it. But when it comes to the different social media sites, right? I think there's a lot of people have their different preferences, right? So from a business standpoint, do you have any recommendations based on a marketing approach that's holistic with a complete digital presence?
Yeah.
Which ones do you have a ranking?
So the three we put up there are kind of the three that we handle the most. Regarding the potential and the difference with social media, the new platforms and the organic reach that provides, a new platform will provide. Just use Facebook as an example compared to TikTok. Right now, if you start a TikTok account and if you post something, it automatically gets a further reach compared to what Facebook did. Regarding, without having paid advertising or running paid ads on Facebook now. TikTok is like Facebook 2008, 2009, 2010, something like that. Where is the value of going to a newer platform other than staying in a platform as Facebook or Instagram, something like that, where the organic reach has dropped this much compared to the newer platform?
So for all the clients that we work with Facebook, I always say to them, it's about brand building, adding credibility to your brand, sharing information. And we allocate, so if someone pays us X dollars per month, as part of that, we take a small chunk of that and put it towards boosting posts on a monthly basis. So we're making sure that, because you shared on Facebook 1,000 people and 10 people see it. And you're like, what was the point of that? you're still showing up to those 10 people, so there's some value there. But we pick and choose like 2 to 4 posts per month that are extra important, that we really want more eyeballs to see, that's important for our clients to get exposure for, and then we'll boost those posts for them. Because
at that point, where is the cutoff there to say I'm going to spend more time on TikTok, other than your ideal client may not be there right now.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, people move from platform
generation,
to platform.
yeah.
So where is the cutoff point where you make a conscious decision and say, hey, Facebook's not working anymore, we're going all in over here?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we look at the analytics and we study kind of Google Analytics to see where traffic's coming from, if we would be implementing a Facebook campaign and get no traffic from it, and if we were seeing no direct messages coming in, like asking for quotes and things like that, we would have to pivot and say, like, let's stop spending, even if it's $100 a month for boosting over there, because we think we're getting some reach, but it's not leading to any real business, and start looking in other avenues. We do Instagram for clients, but we also encourage them to do that themselves, because like they're in the business 24/7. Like we can come up with custom graphics and design things, but like in the moment photos is what drives Instagram success. Same thing with the other social platforms. So we're not, to be transparent, we're not very well versed in like Snapchat, TikTok. But if that became something where we were like, you know, the 15-year-olds in 5 years are going to be the homeowners, or like 20-year-olds are going to be the homeowners, like we need them seen like now so they grow with the brand. We would probably encourage clients to like, we would learn it ourselves and then try to teach clients to do that themselves, because those brands have to be like the face of that account. Like Facebook's simple enough that we can create custom graphics, we can share articles, we can do that for the business. Some social platforms, I feel like as the business owner, you have to assume that responsibility yourself and own it, because it's best done from the ground up and kind of from ground zero, if that helps.
So I do have a question. It's very similar to yours, only because I've been a little challenged. One, I'm not really that old, but I'm not really tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
I do have Instagram, I do have Facebook, and it works great for me because when I post on one, it automatically posts on the other, right? However, I'm a caterer. So most of my clients end up posting on Snapchat. And so I get a lot of organic traffic just because they're posting on a platform that I'm not even on. So I don't necessarily want to carry another social media presence.
Yeah.
So how do you bridge that gap?
It's a good question. I would look for like a freelancer maybe that can just focus on something like that for you. The phrase interns thrown around so much, like we don't find success with interns all that much, just because it's like it's such a moment in time and then they move on to the next thing. I would look for like a freelancer, like a friend or family member that wants to take that on with you and grow with you. Someone that's kind of already in that game. Go like local searches on that platform and see who's doing a good job on it, rather than try to teach someone how to use that platform for you. Go to someone that's already successfully using that platform. You know, freelancers can be cost effective. I don't think you'd have to pay like a salary to someone to do that for you, and come up with a plan that says, you know, X times per week, this is the amount of hours I'd like for you to spend on that platform and help me grow my presence, would probably be my best bet. Or if you're able to, like, bite the bullet and do it yourself and be like, I don't want to, but like as business owners, like we all have to do a lot of things we don't want to do, but if it's good for the business, like sometimes you just do it because you know that it can lead to more results and growth, and, you know, not up your alley of things you really are passionate about, but it's an evil necessity at some point.
They are coming from there, to me, would be a trigger that it requires your attention. So once you recognize that, I would believe that, like with Matt said, with a freelancer, or maybe it comes from Upwork or something like that. There's, you know, gazillions of people who are out there who are versed in those types of platforms that can help you, you know, for a few hours a week or whatever, post to your Snapchat. That way you're not tied up with posting. It's going to cost you $2, but if that's where your clients are at, that's where you can be.
Yeah.
And we also had a question from Facebook that was general in the sense of, does boost help? They've heard that boosting posts doesn't.
No, for what we've done and what we've seen, it definitely does. I mean, you'll get more eyeballs on it, and then we're able to track that traffic via Facebook, via Google Analytics, and see, like, times of the month that we boosted posts, how much traffic it sent back. Example, we work with the local attorney. We ran a boosted post campaign for a specific service that they were like, oh, we should highlight that more because we don't really talk about that much. We did it for about 14 days, spent a couple $100 boosting posts for them. I reached out to him, showed him the analytics, and like, again, analytics are good, but the business owner tells us, like, did the phones ring and did you hire more services out? And he was like, yeah, I'm actually talking to a guy today. We had a couple other people in the last couple of weeks that reached out to us. So my question always is, should we run it again if it worked? And he was like, yeah, do the exact same thing that you just did. Like, let's double down on it, because they're getting results from it. So it's not 100% going to work every time, but with the right offer, the right message, right demographics targeted, it can absolutely drive business for you.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
Boosted posts, through my own experience, you're exactly right. If you're boosting a post to be cool and your message isn't there, boosting posts are basically worthless.
Correct.
You're just spending money. If you post a couple pictures and you say, this is a kitchen that we recently remodeled, yeah, look how cool we are. A boosted post is basically a wasted money. We currently are boosting posts to reach more individuals for employment opportunities. So we have a message, we have a call to action, and then we are spending money behind that, boosting that post so more people can see it. I can attest that boosting a post will actually work, but the messaging has to be right, and the intent has to be right. If you're just doing it for followers or to show people how cool you are, you're wasting money.
Yep. I always say when we create our campaign, like on a monthly basis for our clients, when we pick or choose which post we want to boost, 9 times out of 10, they are pointing people back to our client's website. I always say, do not, like, it's Matt's birthday, let's boost it for $50 to see if Matt can get 100 likes. Like, that's a waste of money, because who cares if Matt got 100 likes about his birthday? But if we have a service like, website deal, 10% off, whatever, and we're boosting that post, sending people back to our website, we've absolutely seen it work for our clients before. Communication. So for social media, again, people send messages all the time. I have a question, I want a quote, can you answer this? It's just a great customer service tool. So even if you're not generating a ton of business from it, like directly from that platform, you might be getting business because you're able to answer a question on that platform, and then they contact you via phone call or a form submission on your website. Engagement, obviously, that's the goal of a lot of social media campaigns, and everybody wants to go viral and all that good stuff. But there is something to be said about creating a sense of community amongst your followers, getting more reviews. So getting people to comment on your post and just to show that there's a person behind this brand. And if I go on their Facebook page and say something, like, there's actually someone behind the scenes that's going to communicate with me, that gives people a sense of, like, this is a legitimate brand. This is kind of cool that I get to talk to them. And then personalization, it's a perfect way to humanize your brand, show behind the scenes, etc. Your website's pretty static, like it shares your services and about us page and all that good stuff, but you're not updating it like around the clock 24/7. Whereas with social media, multiple times per week, you can share up-to-date information. So it's just a way to give people a more up-to-the-minute insights into who you are, what you do, why you do it, what makes you different. Reputation. Yes, sir. Yep.
And for me, I'm only like 3.5 years into this, and in the last 1.5 years, full time. And I've got a real dance that I'm doing. A lot of stuff that I sell, my clients know I'm not the one doing it. Yep. I'm the face of the brand. I'm the sales. I kind of don't even like doing it.
Yep.
It's fun for about 2 hours. And
Yep.
But one of the things I struggle to speak to is the difference. Because when you start diving into boosting a post, it almost feels like you're going through a campaign. So what is the difference? So I was like, hey, should I run a campaign or boost a post? I struggle sometimes to even answer it. Yeah. Because I'm looking up articles to try and find the difference. Yep. And it's kind of murky, at least to me, when I'm reading about it. So what would you say?
Yeah, so for us, we always look at boosted posts as more of like short-term strategies. So I don't have a ton of money to invest in this campaign, but man, I would like to sell another kitchen this summer. Let's boost, like, for a couple of weeks. Let's throw a couple $100 at it. Paid ad campaigns, via Facebook and Instagram. That's actually a separate service that we partner with someone to do because it's such a specialized service. With that, you can A/B test, you can follow people through like the sales cycle. It is so much more in depth than just a boosted post. Lookalike audiences, like you could do so much more with the paid campaign. So for us, it's always like, what's the end goal? If it's a paid campaign, it needs to be a pretty big goal, and you need to have some good dollars to throw at it over a certain amount of time. Our local attorney, we'd like to, see a boost in expungement services over the next couple months because, we have a couple extra $100. Can you make that happen? To go the boosted post route. Like we have a partner that we work with for paid ad campaigns, and they charge $750 a month for management. So like you have to have just $750 a month just for the management, and then ad spend on top of that. So that has to be a serious campaign with serious goals and serious budget to kind of push it forward. Whereas someone that's like, I have $250 extra to spend this month. Can you do anything with it? Like that's the perfect route to go boosted post because you don't have a management fee. You don't have to set up a bunch of different creatives and ad campaigns. It's pretty much like A plus B equals C, whereas an ad campaign is like A to Z times 2 type of stuff. Yes. Did that answer your question?
If you don't mind, kind of piggybacking off what you said earlier regarding boosting, awareness and I guess followers to that particular platform.
Yep.
If we talk about Facebook, but as far as the actual spend, even when you use Facebook's business tools, you'll find that you can still stay within that budget. It's just really knowing how to navigate through.
Yep.
I mean, essentially, when you do boost, it sets up just as you would with an ad campaign. You can just really target it and be more specific.
Yeah.
But I've had experience where for $2, got 1,000 followers.
Yep.
Like $2, but then running like a $25 or a $250 ad campaign, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So it's just really navigating through the tools, understanding them.
Yeah.
And being able to use them,
test it and
the best of your ability. And then, excuse me, young ladies, you said catering, correct?
Yes.
And then Snapchat being the thing where you're finding the
Snapchat, or even if I'm in my home and I played with it twice, where I teach people how to cook, because I do teaching classes as well. I get a lot of traffic just for that. And the reality is I just don't like social media. I don't know why.
Maybe a platform, maybe a video platform.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah. Even YouTube. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we did have some comments in the Facebook Live about, potentially YouTube gets probably the heaviest amount of traffic, right, for viewers, and Facebook then being next. So if you're leveraging video, creating a YouTube channel and integrating that into your marketing efforts, and then also then posting it natively onto Facebook as well.
Yeah.
That way, because Facebook and YouTube tend to have this budding competition, right? So Facebook doesn't necessarily like YouTube links. They want
right on their site uploaded.
Considered a video platform on Facebook.
Yeah. So with clients that do videos, that's kind of our overarching strategy is they get the video, put it on YouTube, then we embed that YouTube video on their website. That way we've created a library on their website. So it's like a video page on their website where they have that whole video thing, because people will go to your website, see a YouTube icon, go to that and look at your whole library, but they may not see that little icon down there. So if we have a page on your website that showcases all those videos, it's just another way to get more views on those videos, especially if you're in an industry where people seeing videos and watching you cook and things like that is a really good idea to create. And it'll keep people on your website longer, which Google likes to see stickiness of your website. So it just helps with overall engagement. Number 5, reputation management. So we say, it'll make or break you. Ways to win reputation management, 5-star online reviews. Like I said earlier, we really focus on getting Google reviews. We think that's where most people go to like pick and choose who they're going to work with. So the more Google reviews you have, the better. If you can't get a Google review, the secondary place we send people to generally is Facebook. There's like Angie's List and Yelp and like all those other places that you can get reviews. We really try to focus on those two. And again, there's probably arguments to be made by focusing on other ones, and I wouldn't sit here and say that's a bad strategy. It's just that's where we've found the most bang for the buck for our clients, and that's what we focus on. Ways to generate online reviews. We have a strategy where we create a postcard. This is for businesses who work directly with customers, like face to face at the end of a job. So, you know, a contractor finishes his job and the person's like, oh, I love my roof. They whip out like a 4x6 postcard, it's branded, it has like a message, thanks for choosing us. And then there's a QR code on that card that says basically scan this QR code with your phone. They'll scan that with their phone's camera and it immediately opens up the spot on Google where they can leave that 5-star review. So we used to, before we came up with that strategy recently, years ago, we had a postcard that was like, step 1, go to Google. Step 2, type in business name. Step 3, click on the link over here. Step 4. And it was like, no one was doing it because we're asking people to follow 5 steps. Like no one has the time to do that. And then if there was a small misunderstanding in one of the steps, people just boarded the mission. So we now use that QR code. It's as easy as pulling out your phone camera, scanning it, and immediately that box pops up. And all I have to do is click number of stars, type it in, and hit submit. So it's like super user friendly, super easy. We've had a lot of success with clients that do that. And then there's software. The one that we use is reviewtech.com.
Sorry,
yeah, go for it.
Maybe you can give me a little bit of your own experience.
Yes.
So there's a gap, right, between generations. We have the old school people, and then we have this youth.
Yep.
My business cards, even the logos on my car, it's a QR code.
Yeah.
However, how do I successfully gravitate those in the older generation who are not familiar with what a QR code is?
Yeah. So the software that we use, like if they have a phone, and we have a local dentist, and we're like, get more reviews, and he's like, most of my demographics 60 plus, and like we're like, you know, go into your Gmail account, and they're like, what's a Gmail account? I'm like, oh, this is so hard to do. So there are some industries that like you're just like, people just aren't going to do it because it's like they weren't raised that way, they don't understand technology, and it's more frustrating for them. Even if they love you, it's just so frustrating for them to try to figure it out that they're just like, I'll just tell my friends about you, but I'm not doing, like I can't do it, I'm done with this. So you're not always going to be able to get this, but with someone that like the QR code and they're like too much, like where's my phone icon, and like how do I scan something, and just like information overload, there's the software up there. We put reviewtech.com, where basically you have the name and email and phone number of someone that you've worked with. You submit it to that software, and then you customize the message, and it'll send a text message out to them that says like, hey, thanks for using our services. We hope you enjoyed your experience. Click here to leave us a review. So now they're not having to like open phones and scan stuff. It's literally like, as long as they can read a text and click on a link, it will take them right to that spot where they can leave that review. If they don't leave that review, the software knows that they opened that text but didn't leave a review. They'll send a follow-up email with the same message like 24 hours later, that now you're in someone's inbox that says like, hey, we noticed you didn't leave us a review yet. We're not going to continue to bother you, but one more, like, we just wanted to ask one more time, if you leave a review, please click here. So there's that. You know, with our dentist example, like we actually suggested to him that like maybe like sit down with that person at a computer, like, and that's a pain in the butt sometimes, but like if you really want that review, which it's that important to get sometimes, you know, you sit down with that person and you kind of like walk them through the process, kind of hold their hands to get to the finish line with them.
Could they integrate that through the checkout process?
Yeah, I'm sure they could.
Checking out, just, you know, here's my tablet, just like we did when we walked in here today.
Yep.
You know, here's my tablet, and you know.
Would you leave a quick review? Yeah. We did that with a retail customer that sold candy at their candy store. It was like, as someone was checking out, like the tablet was right there. It was like, you know, if you've been here before and you love our candy, could you quick leave us a review right there on the spot? So we're not even asking them to go to their car and do something. It's kind of like, and then you have that customer service person that's there to be like, we'd really appreciate it. Like make them feel warm and fuzzy, and how much you'd appreciate it. You could definitely do that. Yep. It's a great idea.
And in your case, if you have your tablet video, so you can get video testimonies.
Yeah.
Something that'll help. I have a couple clients that, you know, some of their customers don't even have email.
Yeah.
So even sending out proposals or invoices, you know, they don't have email, so you have to go the traditional route.
Yep.
And as opposed to driving back and forth, you know, if you can capture them right there, it's just really delightful.
Yeah.
You know, compile something. That's another thing you can post up on
your YouTube channel or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true, but then you do have those people who don't want to be recorded.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So
and then
like,
those are the ones you just have to
But you
roll.
also have those who do.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
if someone says no to me, that's fine. There are a million other people that I go,
say yes to.
That mindset, it just didn't work out with this one. It wasn't because of the quality of your work or you didn't produce
It's just a personal.
Yep, totally. Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So then the engagement part of reputation management, which we kind of talked about in the social media. So being able to respond back and forth on comment threads, ask or answer questions that have been asked via direct messages, answer questions, provide quotes. We see that quite often with a lot of our clients. People will just Facebook message them and say, hey, can I get more information? Or, hey, can you send me a quote? Or I have a question, and we answer it for them. If we don't know the answer, we reach out to our client. We say, hey, person X on Facebook just asked this question. How would you like us to respond? And then at the bottom there, we said the choice is clear. It's just consumer behavior now. You go to Google and you're deciding between two companies, and one has 5 five-star reviews, and the other one has 50 5-star reviews. You're just inclined to choose the company with more reviews, whether or not they're deserving of your business and are better at what they do. That's not known at that point. But they're probably going to give you a quicker chance because according to society as a whole, based on your reviews, you look like the better option. And then the last one, which I could jump into, unless anyone has any questions about that. Yes.
And based off reviews, I mean, I noticed that you can, when you're doing a search,
Yep.
you can actually filter.
Correct. Yep.
Top reviews.
Yeah.
Or most frequently contacted, things of that nature. They really improve the way you do it. Not that the average consumer is really good at
using all these things. Yeah. But some of them are savvy enough. Yeah. Yep.
So they help.
And then the last one here is email marketing, as Adam continues to type in passwords. Email marketing, we're a big fan of. So not all of our clients utilize it. Some just don't want to. Others don't have a list that they've developed. Any of our clients that have a decent list, and again, decent can be as little as 25 or 50 people. If you can get 25 people that email once or twice a month, and one of those people turns into a repeat customer, it's an investment that pays for itself pretty quickly, depending on what you sell. So reasons to use email marketing: share special offers, seasonal discounts, special announcements. With email, you can kind of segment your audience. So for us, we have a current client list that we email certain things to, that we want to let our clients know about new services or add-ons or things like that. We have leads that come in, so it's a totally different audience. Obviously, we're not going to share new services to leads necessarily, or if we do, it's going to be messaged differently. So you can pick, basically, here's audience A, B, and C. Here's the message I want to share with each one of those. Drip campaigns, so stay top of mind with consistent emails, X times per month. Some of our clients, it's 2 times per month. We have a client that wants to do it 4 times a month. We have some that do it quarterly. So there's no right or wrong, you have to do email marketing this many times per month or anything like that. It's basically how often can you share good information so you're not spamming people and they're deleting your emails. I always say to people, close rates vary open rates vary industry to industry. 20 to 30% of an open rate, okay, good enough. But so people would be like, well, why am I wasting my time? Because 70% are just deleting my emails or not opening it. They're still seeing your brand in their inbox. So even if I don't open, Joe Schmo's email, I see Joe Schmo on a monthly basis. So then when I'm thinking of, hey, who do I want to hire when I need my mortgage or whatever it is, Joe Schmo's name comes to mind because I've seen him in my emails. Even though I'm not actually reading the content, I'm seeing that subject line, I'm seeing his brand name. And it's a high visibility medium. So like I just said, even if it's not being read, it's being seen. And it is one of the few assets that you own. So Facebook, great, create a huge audience. Facebook wants to ban you, or Facebook changes their terms of service, you can lose that platform overnight because you never technically owned it. Facebook owned it, you were just using it. Same with all the social channels, same with a whole bunch of stuff. With email lists, you don't own their emails, but you kind of own their emails because if they've opted in, they've said, I'm open to having you communicate with me. So you have that list and no one can take that list away from you.
Do you suggest using things like MailChimp, stuff like that, automating that, or would it be best to go the route of manually getting those out? Because I know if you do a lot of automation, it spams you automatically.
Yeah.
Whether you use
Yep. So
people drop in.
yeah.
SMTP.
Yep.
Will get you right in there. So if you're sending it directly.
Yeah, we use MailChimp for most of our clients. Some use Mad Mimi, one or two used to use Constant Contact, but for everything that we do, it's it's manual. So we're like coming up with a topic, we're custom writing that depending on time of the year, whatever they want to highlight, we're formatting it and then we're sending it out to their list. We have looked at for like e-commerce clients that we used to work with, doing that automation where it's like, hey, you left this in your cart, or like, you know, a couple of days after they purchase something, hey, you might be interested in this, where we're not manually going in every, you know, couple of days and sending that list out. It's like you create that campaign, save it, and then the system triggers certain things to go out at certain times. But we don't have much experience with that because most of our clients, it's like, what do we want to focus on next? And let's custom create that message and send it out on your behalf.
Starting to notice that a lot of the big players are starting to use text messaging as well.
Yeah.
They're doing email and then they follow it up with a text.
Yep.
Have you guys noticed that as well, or are you moving towards that?
Yeah, we've researched it quite a bit. We haven't started implementing it for anyone yet. It's certainly on the radar. When we start or who we start it with to be determined. But yeah, it's because, I mean, I don't have my phone, it's over there, but like constantly, same thing, like we're seeing it from a consumer's perspective that is being utilized. And it, again, like email gets right in your inbox, phone, like everyone's attached to their phone 24/7. So it's kind of like, it smacks you right in the face. You can't avoid it. So yeah, it's definitely, we had a client recently ask about, they're doing a huge hiring campaign, and instead of saying go to website name.com to apply, it was like text 55555 to apply.
We just talked about that last time.
Yeah, so we're looking into solutions for that and figuring out what the best strategy is for that. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So I do have experience with MailChimp.
Mm-hmm.
However, I pay for Square.
Mm-hmm.
And I use Square for my internet hosting, for collecting my payments, for collecting my orders, my inquiries. I use it for everything. And it also offers the mail service.
Yep.
The email service. Have you experienced with Square, and comparatively, which one is better? Would it be better for me to invest additional dollars into MailChimp versus staying with what I'm already paying for?
So we don't have experience with Square, so I can't answer like A versus B. I would say, like, my question to you would be, what do you use Square for in terms of your email, and do you find any limitations with it? Like, are there things you wish you could do that you're like, you bang your head in the wall because you're like, I want to use Square because it does everything else, but I can't do it because they don't have the capability? And if you're finding that's the case, MailChimp is free, I think up to like 5,000 contacts. So unless you have a huge list, like MailChimp's a free resource, most of our clients aren't paying for it because they don't have a list above 5,000. And then even above 5,000, it's not much. Like you can have a boatload of contacts for like $50 or less per month. So it's cost effective. I would say, yeah, like what capability do you need? If Square provides it to get by, then continue to use that because everything's kind of bundled into one, so you keep everything simple. If you're finding that it's not possible to do something and you wish you could, then look for other solutions, and it might be worth investing in it. And then we got a bonus, which is caring. So everything else we talked about, the brand, the strategy, the SEO, the website, like all that you need to have to be successful. But for us, you have to care about people. And then we just, a little quote here to finish it with. We said we rise by lifting others. It goes back to what we tell our clients all the time, which is your success is our success. We love what we do. We enjoy making money, but ultimately knowing that we're helping others achieve success and find more pleasure in life because of what we're able to provide for them. It really, like I always say to people, I love going to bed at night and falling right asleep because I have a clear conscience of what we do and why we do it, and waking up excited about doing what we get to do is the greatest reward in and of itself. Could we make more money? Could we charge people more and like pocket more? Of course. But at the end of the day, it's not why we do what we do. We love watching other people succeed, and because of that, we get to experience a certain level of success ourselves. And I think, yeah, so here's like, if you're interested online, or anyone here, if you're interested in learning more, we do a free discovery consultation, which is basically like, we'll look at all your stuff, we'll make suggestions, we'll jump on a call, we'll answer all your questions. There's no sales pressure, obviously. Like, the goal of that is to work together for us. But if it doesn't lead to that, and I can share good information with you over 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and you take that information and do what you want with it, yourself, or hire someone else, or, cross-reference it against other people. I honestly don't really care. I just like helping people, and if we get to work with you because of that, cool. If not, totally cool too. There's plenty of people out there. That's my email address down there, matthew@rodamarketing.com. So if you're interested in setting up a call or doing like an audit for you, feel free to reach out. We would love to help and at least take that first step with you to see if it's a good fit. And then I think the last one is questions, comments, concerns. Was I swaying too much as I talked? I tend to notice myself doing that on video.
It definitely can be that way.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's either, you know, when you're on, if you're not regularly speaking
Yeah.
or, you know, as practiced, and
Yeah.
it's one of the key reasons why we do this is
Yeah.
it gives people the
Yep.
opportunity and give you a platform
Yeah.
to be able to share. Right, it's content for Rockstars by Rockstars,
Yeah.
and that's the big key. So I don't know that it's everybody's here judging and looking at it.
Getting
You're not
seasick.
pro
They're like,
either.
geez, dude, stop swaying. Like, Matt, you're swaying again.
No, it's quite okay, but I appreciate the dialogue and questions
Likewise.
going through as we went in there. But
yeah.
So in summary, looking at all 6 components and tying it all together, what other questions might we have as a group, you know, to be able to, I mean, now is the time. We've got Matt front and center.
Okay, so it's a redundant question.
Yeah, go for it.
In my opinion, so I was hesitant to ask it. However, when I visit any website, I don't want to read all your smoke. I
Yeah.
want to get right to the point
Yep.
and get what I need and
Yep.
get off.
Yep.
So on my website, it has your order form, and then it has the foods and the pictures.
Yep.
However, we stand for so much more.
Yeah.
So do I really, I'm defiant by nature, you'll learn that.
Yeah. We all are. Yeah.
Is it really important for me to have that about me, what we stand for? I mean, people see us active in the community.
Yep.
For different reasons.
Yeah. So I love that question because the one book I read probably 6-9 months ago, it's called Marketing Made Simple by Donald Miller. And it completely changed the way I look at marketing. And we revamped our website based on his philosophies. And this guy's an older guy, and he's marketed like huge companies, tons of success, millions of maybe not millions, a lot of case studies. So I believe what he said and how he presented it was very believable. But basically, he was saying exactly what you said, which is like, and if you go to our website, we don't, across the top of our website, we don't have about us, services, reviews. Like we don't, he calls that the junk drawer. So basically he's like, people go to your website to like, and my goal is to set up a discovery call because that's where I have an opportunity to add value and to have that turn into a relationship. And everything else is just fluff and it's distracting. So you'll see up there, like these are what he calls our cash register. So cash register, go down, this are buttons, cash registers. And then if, you know, cash registers, and if someone wanted to learn a little bit more about our services, okay, they can read more, they can go to a page, cash registers, some testimonials, cash registers. And then at the bottom is what he calls our junk drawer. So we have all those pages because they are important to have because some people do want to learn more about your company, but they're not the most important thing. Like the most important thing is for you to pick up the phone and call me or to schedule a discovery session. So his whole philosophy is like, I go to the homepage, you better give me like 7 cash registers because that's all you want as a business owner, someone to ring that cash register. And as a consumer, like if you know you need marketing and you'd like, if like, where's the phone number, where's the form, like, let's make this happen. So we actually did 2 of our other clients' websites that we just redesigned, redeveloped semi-recently with the same philosophy. So again, cash register, like there's, and then at the very bottom, junk drawer. Like, so it's like, I read the book and I was like, oh my God, like we've been doing websites wrong for 9 years. And like, we haven't been doing them wrong. And like, we know the analytics and we see the conversions and people are filling in forms. So like they're successful. Like I'm not like, if our current clients are watching this, they shouldn't be like, why'd you do my website early? Like that's not the case. But for certain industries and depending on what you're selling, like you really might just want to have like cash registers. And then if someone really wants to read the reviews, you know, learn more about us, that's where they go. And then to your point about like community involvement and wanting people to know what you stand for, social media. Like that's where like someone wants to like get that personal brand, like that feel for who you are. That's where they go to learn more about you and to see what you stand for and who you really are. But if ultimately I just need to hire a caterer and I want to do it now, give me cash register so I can contact you. So it's a great question.
And to piggyback off of that, you know, it really depends on what type of business
Correct.
you are
Yep.
marketing or
Yep.
promoting.
Yep.
You know, so some people want to know the details.
Yeah.
You know, like if I went to a lawyer, yeah, I want to have that CTA there.
Correct.
Say, okay, look, you know, I have court tomorrow.
Yep.
You know, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
take care of that. But, you know, they also want to see what areas of
Yep.
practice
Yep.
and
Others'
maybe
experiences.
have an opportunity to look at the faces of the attorneys
Yep.
and feel some type of, I guess,
Connection with who
trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it
Yep.
really depends. But you said you're using Square.
I do use Square.
So we kind of like that package does everything all together. It's ready for you. You get eliminator, lead pages, but
Yeah.
similar to what you said, you definitely want to have that about because they may not see it on your website. And a lot of buyers don't really go to the website.
Yeah.
All through all that stuff.
Correct. Yep.
But that metadata is sitting out there somewhere. And if somebody was searching or did a query and then they find, you know, you're about to say pop up, you got it. So don't eliminate it completely. You might just want to
not make it super important. Yeah. Yeah, the average time on websites is like a minute to a minute 45 seconds. So people are not spending 5-10 minutes reading all your content, looking at all your pages. Like people make quick decisions, which again, to like the imagery and like the brand in general, like the first impression goes a long way because someone's like instantly knows like they look reputable and there's a call to action, like decision made. Whereas it's not like a 10 or 20 minute decision making process. And they're like, oh, I really like how they said that about themselves. Like it's like bam, 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 or on to the next and I'll choose someone else.
I think in the advent of social media, the fact that I'm going down this journey myself with my website, back before social media was around, your branding came off of your website. Those were the days of the $25,000 website,
Yep.
the whole 9 yards. It looked really awesome,
Yep.
really cool. You were setting up your brand. I'm starting to see now traditional websites versus, for lack of a better word, ClickFunnels, sales funnels, or
Yep.
whatever. Your websites are using to be converting sales and leads other than showing your brand, and your social media is basically for your brand.
Yep.
And your website is to be quick, concise, and just go down, bang, 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 get the lead. And that's where you come in. You named it as a cash register.
Yep.
So basically, you hit that cash register, and the next form, I believe, was to fill out the form where you collect the emails, the contact information, all that.
Yeah.
And then that starts the sales process.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
My social media is intriguing to me. My Facebook account, most of my orders start open there.
Yeah.
So you'll see whatever I post on my website, picture-wise, it automatically goes into my Facebook. I don't do it.
Okay.
It automatically integrates into my Facebook, and people are able to click and start an order form, which I'm able to see each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my website's absolutely horrible. It's junk right now.
Yeah.
And it's, self-developed 5 years ago. I haven't really done anything with it since. And I'm going through that journey now. Okay, now what do I do with this thing?
Yep.
Where do I go? And who do I get to help me along this process and figure this thing out? But yeah, it's I can make my website.
I can make mine too.
What do you sell?
I'm a contractor.
Okay.
So
In general?
yeah. So we specialize in specialized service skill trades. We have everything in-house. And back when I first started this journey, I did the website, it's a GoDaddy website, the whole 9 yards. And I went and put pictures in boxes and did the whole 9 yards because I thought that's what you need. So over the years, we're 5 years into it now. So over the years, I'm starting to realize that the presence is in social media, and then the websites are becoming are becoming your sales. They're your sales process.
Okay. So my quick question to you is, are you selling your product online?
It's just a lead generation at that point in time. There's no tangible projects online or products online to sell. It's a lead process, lead generation.
And in that case, for that type of service, it's a credibility statement. And that's what your website is.
Yeah.
It's not to have a bunch of CTAs, it depends, right?
Yeah.
But it's a credibility statement to say, okay, these are the guys that I met, or I saw their van, or whatever. Okay, everything checks out. What next? I also read a book where it was really meant to focus on the conversion. You know, if you're searching up, if you have knee pain, a lot of folks are taking the advantage to, you know, self-medicate or take care or treat, you know, whatever their ailment is on their own. So they'll do a lot of research before they actually click that button. You want to be on that other end. You want to be positioned so they click that button to get the help. So if you're a knee surgeon or a specialist in that area, you want to set yourself up for that conversion. You don't want to go through that whole discovery, let's see how it is, because that's adding more steps to your process.
Yeah.
So if you can eliminate that by cleaning up whatever you have out there to just be the conversion, you know, portion of the funnel, it'll position you a lot better.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you make some changes to your site.
Yeah. Right now, I call my site just being cool. It's just it's designed to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It absolutely does not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how much does cool put the Pitt National Bank?
It does.
That's a good question. And then, yeah, here, last screen, everyone online in here, if you mention being a Rockstar, you get 10% off website deal or your monthly campaign just for being here and or watching online and giving us the opportunity to help you.
Is there any package? I'm thinking of a new business owner, right? Startup.
Yep.
For me, my experience is in social justice, the church. That's been my work history.
Yep.
Doing catering is just something I know how to do.
Yeah.
Right? So I have met with people in regards to doing my website. However, I'm self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
There's no loans. There's no anything that I'm taking out. I don't want to go in debt.
Yeah.
How does a person equip themselves when they're just starting a new business and there's not enough funding to support the tools we need to be successful?
I was gonna say, that's a big question.
I have an answer.
Go for it, please.
You're here, like network your butt up, find people who believe in your vision and want to be part of it and get them invested, and next thing you have some funding because you're not the only one to team. It's hard to do, yes, but absolutely it's totally worth it if you want to scale your dream. So, not a 30-second answer necessarily, but it's really what you need to do if you want to take your vision and grow it.
But what if you don't, for example, people who have tried my food, I'm just going to be very transparent.
Sure.
And I cannot tell you how many times people have come in and said, I want to be an investor.
Okay.
For me, my perspective, and maybe I'm a little ignorant in this, I don't want anyone getting paid off on my back. Unless you're in my kitchen working with me, you're not making a profit off of what I do. That's my perspective. So I would rather start with my little funds and reinvest what I get versus giving other people that opportunity. Yes, if you bring something that's unique, that's going to elevate it to a different level, that's fine, but baby steps are still baby steps and you can't skip them.
Yeah, I believe it's a little bit by the little bit.
Yeah.
Like I want to rule the world every day. And
Yeah.
I realize, you know, I get slapped in the face every day when I do that because I realize that it's the baby steps. And it's a little bit by little bit. Like this gentleman talked about, you know, he did something for $2. So if you have an extra $2 or you can go out and get $2 to forward and give you just a little bit of forward motion and forward progress, it's better than saying, I don't have it, you know, and just giving up to the fact that you don't have $10,000 toward the advertising campaign to scale your business. And you'll find that, I found this out the hard way, you'll find that like you can throw that, you get that $10,000, you can throw that $10,000 at a marketing campaign and it'll sink you. Because all of a sudden you'll have all this attention, it'll come back to you and you'll be like, I don't have the resources in place right now to deal with all this that I do want. And I'm a person who's going through that. Like I pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and sold and sold and sold and sold and expanded so fast that when it came to that day when I have so much work I don't know what to do with, and I'm actually starting to let people down. So now it's kind of like you gotta find out where that happy medium is, because I was a person who was impatient They wanted to rule the world right off the get-go. So it's the little things, it's the daily things that count. And if you don't have what you need, you go out and find it, and you go to the next step.
Raise profit first for contractors. That'll help. Yeah, that'll solve that challenge. And in regard to scaling your business, I mean, I've been in business for 25 years, right? Haven't had any partners, and didn't want anyone to invest. I didn't want anyone to invest in my business based off of, all the work that I put into it. But you have to decide what it is you want. And one that I heard you say, I don't want anyone to get involved, but then you talked about the need or the desire to grow. You can just start with baby steps, but make sure that they're focused on what you want. One of my trademark approaches is there's no substitute for better, right? We can always say, oh, they're the best off of whose metrics. Yeah. Right. You look at a competitor, you look at the big dogs, and you say, oh yeah, I really aspire to do that. Instead of looking, at what you have within, looking at the resources you have. If you happen to have, folks who work with you, or share ideas with you, really channel or pull in those resources and see how you can improve and become better. So Kaizen, if we think of philosophies, improve daily improvement, right? There are steps that you can take. There are enough free tools out there. It's again kind of going back to what you were saying, the content. Make sure the content has something that connects the people that you want to sell your services or sell your product to. Otherwise you're just throwing it out there and you're hoping and wishing. No one wants to pray and hope that something happens. You got to do the work too. So you don't have to have anyone support you. You don't have to have anyone fund you. You can do it all by yourself. It's just using your mind and thinking and having a mindset that's outside of chasing someone else's metrics. And if you're using their field, using their equipment, you have their umpires, you'll never win that game. So create your own world. You said you want to rule the world. I think about that all the time too. But create that world instead of worrying about what everyone else is going to do. This. They're all the experts and all the gurus that say that they can do this and that, and you can do this. They haven't sold anything themselves, right? So they haven't taken on the risk. That's what an entrepreneur is, right? You take responsibility. You're going to do it. You're going to put yourself, at the forefront of whatever you're doing. Just don't lose your passion or your reason why. Passion, competence, and passion, competence, and confidence will save the day.
I believe too, getting around people. You need to get around people you want to be around. Like being here today is just an example of that. Proximity is power, and get around people you want to aspire to be. Get around people you need to be around. And roll into
my cousin Tom Grau.
Okay,
I was his partner.
Okay, cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. You still working with them or? Yeah. Awesome. Good, man. Really good. Good.
I think one of the key components,
Thank you. Appreciate
really
it.
the premise behind Rockstar Connect is
Pandemic.
the fact that, we have the opportunity to build those strategic partnerships, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be an investor, coming in and making money off of your back. But if you're able to better serve the community and help more people by joining forces or complementary marketing, co-marketing, co-branding, different marketing campaigns, that gives you the opportunity where you can also get additional, ad spend or marketing budget by collaborating together. And that gives, you want it to be obviously, a business that's going to be symbiotic with what you do in catering. So by setting things up that way,
just as you were saying, you have the opportunity to create your world and how your business is going to be authentic out in the public, you know, by helping other people help people. And I think that's really one of the key fundamental premises behind Rockstar Connect. It's let's bring people together so that way we can network and build those type of, you know, strategic relationships that can be from either a referral standpoint or from a co-marketing. You know, you're building a team of rock stars, and that's why we started this, you know, almost 4 years ago.
I remember when you first started, I was actually part of some of your networking gatherings, but that's when I was working in social justice.
Right.
Right. So now I'm completely independent, which was why I asked about the website, because I'm sure you have people online right now who don't have a financial. They're reinvesting in themselves. And like me, plenty of times I just said, you know what do I have to lose? I'm just going to throw myself out there. Not foolishly, of course, with some kind of prudence. But some people don't always know the tools that they have access to build this. For example, I don't know the first thing about building a website. I've never taken a code class in college. Never dealt with any of that. If I didn't find Square, how would I know where to set myself up at? Something that was intuitive to myself to just be like, okay, I'm gonna plug this in. It's not what I want, but it handles a multiple of things.
And that's what you might have to do for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to a level where you don't have the time. The worst thing in the world is to, well, unless you're a polymath,
that's a good thing not to happen. So.
The worst thing in the world is to be stuck doing something that you don't necessarily specialize in within your business and doing your best. You're going to erode your time. That's what this game is about. Money is fuel, so we can do what we want to do. Time is what we don't have control over. So I like to have discretionary time. So if you're working on web, that's if it gets too busy or too cumbersome, that's when it's time to reach out. And you just like with anything, you just find a way. Say, okay, cool. You know what? I'm gonna stop, buying, pizza on Fridays, so I can have that money ready. I'll get a couple quotes, or I'll look around, and when I'm ready, I'll go ahead and venture, to that next level. That's when you start to build and grow, so that you can scale. If that's working for you and it's easy, and it's not taking, and another thing, as far as percentage of your time, no matter what you're doing, marketing should be 50% of your time. Shouldn't be 100% of your time. Shouldn't be even 51% of your time. 50% of your time should be marketing, because this is a relationship business. Whether you sell a product, whether you offer services, that's what it's about. And people want to know that there's a face behind it. Otherwise, everything's automated. Google, right? You have, your Microsoft, and you have Tom Shoes. They have different archetypes within how they operate, how they're structured. Apple, another one, right? And so, if you just want a mechanical function, food is in the soul, right? You feel it, you engage, you break bread with people. So tell people why your passion for food is, what maybe that inspired you to do this. Tie in the social justice if you want. I'm assuming you probably are.
I do.
These are clever ways to incorporate that so that people will understand what passion you actually have in what you're doing. They'll believe that. And like I said earlier, we spend a lot of time chasing everyone else's dreams and forget about ours because we see the next thing. Oh, I better jump here. I gotta go here. But who says that what you are currently doing, isn't working? And I believe I've learned that everyone should. If you're in business, you should have a LinkedIn profile. I'm not saying you have to be active on it. Maybe you guys covered that. I'm sorry I was late.
Oh, you're good.
But you should have a LinkedIn profile, because nowadays people, again, especially since we've been in our caves for a year, we want to see someone's face. We want to read about that person that we're going to meet for the first time, or we're going to come to a Rockstar Connection event with, and like have an understanding of who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So that really brings up the point, that coming up on Tuesday evening at Stubby's off of Oregon Pike is our next face-to-face business networking event with Rockstar Connect, and gives you the opportunity that, through this conversation and this dialogue, that there can be another strategy when approaching a live face-to-face networking event, rather than looking for leads or looking for sales. Focus on relationships over transactions, because you never know exactly who you're going to meet that could really open up another pathway or another door that could help rise everybody together. And that's really the key focus that we have. It sounds like you've got a whole nother success seminar topic, right? I mean, we've definitely touched on that. And coming up on August 17th will be our next morning success seminar. We'll get into how to do sales in a post-COVID world. So it's definitely a topic that we touch on, that the dynamics out there in the world and how to approach and reach people has changed from a marketing perspective. But then now culture is a bit different. A lot of people have looked at things differently to say, I want to do something on my own. I don't want to be dependent on having a job or doing what I was doing prior to. I mean, even what Brian was talking about with trying to find people for employment. Some people that may have been ideal to join a team and work as for an employer are now thinking differently. So that's why I really wanted to touch in on, okay, now that we're after COVID, right? All of us are selling. We're selling every time we're in front of someone else, whether it's, hey, you want to go out and get a drink, you want to go grab happy hour, or buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. So that's going to be the next step. If we don't have any other questions for Matt, then I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up the live stream. Thanks everyone for watching. Definitely the dynamic here and being able to have these candid conversations talking about different business topics. Today was marketing. It's super beneficial, and now we'll have that opportunity to connect and continue to build those relationships. So thank you again for watching, tuning in. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll have a short amount of time here until 10:30 for networking, and stop in and see us again on August 17th at 8:30. We have Mr. Kyle Slaymaker with the Slaymaker method. We'll be here to share sales and selling in a post-COVID world. Thanks, everyone.